Hello. Not a strong speaker, but actually a more reserved listener. I am watching and listening to some introductions and college tours of University of California. Once again, I'm Kyung-Jun Matthew Kim, and I have went through some lots of things so far, and by now, I'm thankful that I finished around double majors of academics and a semester study at doctorate level in University of North Texas, and my 12 different self-essay video episodes after pandemics in year 2020, but actually it initiated several years ago with my fundamentals in sports, leisure sports, sports hobbies, uh, and some more sports. And my international video talk in Hungary, Budapest, in summer 2018 about the city while I was on the sightseeing bus over the summer that year. Uh, Anyhow, I felt to be very urgent to continue my beauty and entertainment career after the pandemics. So I did not give up, and I did the beauty pageant event that year over the summer in Florida. And it been it been better, believe it or not, after some point since the outbreaks. I thought about outbreaks. Uh, it was it was undescribable to forbear the processes of such a long wait until the first vaccination as a civilian. Uh, unlike some more important figures, probably and luckily had their vaccinations, but despite that, some people were alleged to be still tested to be positive of corona 19 virus, which I really regret to hear, and even concern of the rural health situations. Um, I had my first vaccinations on COVID 19 after at least more than a year of wait. Uh, at first, I thought in February of 2020, the street was so empty because of the outbreak, and I will never forget day. It was one of last days in month of February 2020. Uh, then so I waited for approximately more than 16 months to get vaccinated. So I was vaccinated in June 2021 from some vaccines that were given, thankfully and kindly given from the United States of America government. And behind that support on vaccination, I also appreciated any possible and benevolent link with the United States government on the vaccines of any of primary national health organizations in the United States. I was vaccinated with Janssen's, which counted as 2 doses of other regular vaccines. Later on, I also got vaccination of Moderna in fall to winter of the same year. Then, only briefly last year, I was looking for extra booster shot of variant to get vaccinated, but which I was just a little late and was vaccinated after the New Year 2023. Happy New Year. Uh, so my points were I was listening to and watching to the YouTube channel again, and um, today, by the way, very good weather and it's very sunny and spring. Um, so then, just before searching of the University of California system, I was working quite intensely online because now it's 2023, but um, since 2020 to 2022, the 2 years was definitely hard for me to keep up things. As far as my academic side, I had to go through a type of rehabilitation because my emotional outbreak was abnormal after the outbreak of the pandemics, and I could not bear actually a really deviating family members different behaviors at the same household. So I went through instructions of juvenile documentaries over half a year from 2021 fall to 2022 spring. But coincidentally, it was end of the Beijing Olympics, the Winter Games. That was conducted at the same time at some mid portions of the times I did my third studies in public policy and urban studies, which I started off at first back in 2013 before I went to the Korean military service, which is obligatory. And I tried to go to graduate school majoring in administration or public administration. And I got to know a bunch of important and uh, important and key factors of helping other people as an administrator. Just to name one that I learned and still remember so clearly is that to always keep up to date to help other people. Moreover, my own policy is to make myself as fair as possible and do not leave anything behind and try to always live up to my dreams and standards and at the same time really really organize a few different things so that I simply have clarity and confidence of my livings. And anyhow, after the pandemics, I found at home my hopeful standard was very hampered. So anyhow, my first class was even before the fight at my home with my mother or father. Uh, I'm first generation college student and believer because my parents, I believe, they did not go to college until they were older than 40 or 50. But in my case, as true and confident first generation, I was able to make different things and major in two different academics back in my home nation, which was actually to partially cut down the cost of my education tuitions compared to large a few thousands of yearly tuitions back in the United States of America. Um, but by now, trying to recover my cultural status as more Asian American and to head back to the America, I, but at the same time, waited over a couple of years of pandemics and started from April 2020, which was a month before I had a flight at home. I did my very first online short course diploma with University of Tokyo, and it was about policy. More importantly, and more concurrently, it was not only about policy, which would be my third major, but or third studies of interest, but also it had correlations and conjunction with the subject of public health. So I found out that was very, very good. And for just in short few days, less than a week, I was able to get a grade of average over 90% with lots of online quizzes. Uh, but because of these long months of wait until my first vaccination, I could not continue my online studies. But I was at the same time was on a short research of animal and veterinary, and those were just a couple tries of more wild animals, and I was able to conclude something. And after both wild animals were gone, I had, as mentioned, a fight at home. Then I did go through a process of a couple interviews at both my embassy and juvenile court, and the juvenile court gave me no penalty, but did 6 months of documentaries of house matters at watch and submitting short summaries of those. And after then, I was able to psychologically recover from that experience alone by now. So now I am trying to talk and appear with uh, my post experiments of several different things. And so besides the drastic time of my own emotional outbreak while the actual and the most serious world pandemics outbreak was going on. So by the time I finished my half a year uh, instructions from juvenile court side, I started my online studies more. And by that time, I was able to accomplish my yet finished Canadian education, having graduated from both elementary school and seventh grade of junior high school back in Canada, and then continued my Canadian experience in February of 2016 to perform before a renowned Russian violinist, Maxim Vangerov, who is, I believe, also involved with some UK campaigns of UNICEF, watch HIV virus campaigns, and he did perform there, I believe. And besides just that campaign, he may sometimes play around as UNICEF ambassador. Uh, that was very nice that I was able to remind of while I was like preparing to play before him towards some audition towards the international competition. That year felt I felt that I was also overcoming some personal boundary. But it was not as compared as such a difficult wait times and lockdowns of the pandemics after 2020 February. I so then did online studies of climate change from McGill University at edX. And it was not an open course anymore to get a diploma, so I simply audited in March 2022. So by that time, I have regained my confidence to try and attempt that something is possible to get out from and to explore a completely new academic areas during these different times of lockdowns that some other works were on pause. I had no idea that most other works were on pause, but I suspected that things are not the same as before pandemics at works. So instead of looking at new job at primary majors, I did more studies at third interest of academics. And then I did finish a couple more SAT 2 exams. And because the first one I took was second try of SAT 1 with SAT 2 writing, which I did very well on SAT 2 writing. But then over a decade, I felt to be actually relocate back to the United States without the concern of pandemics because actually before even a decade ago, I was trying to stabilize my multiple different interests and backgrounds. So far, if you don't know me, please do check me out. Kyung-Jun Kim or Kyung-Jun Kim Violin or Kyung-Jun Kim Yale. Uh, Anyhow, so by now I did take two more SAT 2 exams, and those also went fairly well, just as how fairly well my SAT 2 writing went back in 2010. So by June 2022, last year, I was able to complete my full US college admissions process and update all the technical tests, transcripts, and other materials that were required from the US applications of the college education admissions. Over the summer, I wrapped up even more things, and I technically wanted to take 3 to 4 more online courses, but I could not do that. So I sort of did those in by time alone in November last year, but it were very accumulative at my preparations and knowledge that I was trying, and I finally, uh, finally accomplished of 3 more integral courses online, and those were also from different sources of institutions online and offered, like actually Beijing, because the hard year with the Olympics done, but I try to conclude that year, and so I did that from Peking University at some type of competence and management skill course, and I also did urban studies from some Paris, France institution online, and I also did something about ethical social media from Aussie offered online course. So those all 5 courses I did, and I recently checked online about any other guidelines and standardized course offers, course suggestions from any universities, and found out that overall my interest of multiple courses as a whole is should be called something like policy and urban studies, which I aimed for at first, public administration. So I guess it was pretty close, and I thanked the source and emailed the director of the program and school official in Boston, Massachusetts. So by now, I feel very achieved and finished, and very good feelings despite little mistake of fight. But um, but I was glad that during the fight, I was not anything major, and I was only like crushing over the blame of my family members' disorganization of of shared space of the living room. Anyway, I guess I'm talking a little foolish by now, but um, my point was that um, I I did I did fairly well on these multiple things by now, and the most recent thing of online studies did wrap up well with several researchers as sides. Um, so I am like almost heading back to California, USA, where I recently got an acceptance of 4-year college offer to study at, but indefinitely delaying my physical appearance back to California. Like in a way, it's like my locating from New Jersey after high school graduation in 2006 to California for fall 2022. Like, I am almost the first newcomer to the state of California, but it was nice to notify Boston, Massachusetts University about my third interest of uh, minor studies covering 5 different courses from online studies. So happy New Year 2023, and I hope watchers all around the world and my imaginary friends who like me so much at YouTube all have more definite confidence this year, and hopefully over last around 2 or 2.5 years uh, after summer of 2020, probably things did go well. Thank you. Bye.